You ever have your lunch money disappear because of a fight happening way over on the other side of the schoolyard? A fight that has absolutely nothing to do with you? Well, that's kind of what happens when you realize the whole world is basically one giant playground. Let's get into it.
So that's the big question, right? How does a squabble over by the swing set suddenly make your ice cream cone more expensive? To understand that, you have to picture the entire world as just one big interconnected playground. What happens over there definitely affects you over here. Okay, so where did this whole mess even begin? Well, like most playground showdowns, it started when two of the biggest, toughest kids on the blacktop finally decided they were done arguing. So let's really set the scene. Here we all are on this one playground. You've got some kids trading snacks, some kids building sandcastles. For the most part, everyone's just trying to get through recess in one piece. But under the surface, yeah, trouble was brewing.
And then, bam, it happened. The first shove. Except this wasn't just a shove. No way. This was like one kid picking up 900 rocks and throwing them at the other kid, all in a single morning. This was meant to be a knockout punch, to end the fight for good.
But here's the thing about a fight this big. It's never just the bullies who get hurt. This number, it's heartbreaking. This is the number of little kids who were just playing, minding their own business near the school, when one of those rocks landed in the worst possible place. It's a tragic reminder that on this playground, the consequences are very, very real. All right, so after that first big move, you just knew a reaction was coming. And the retaliation? Well, it wasn't another punch. It was something way sneakier. Something designed to make every single person on that playground thirsty and fast. Think about it. There's only one water fountain for the entire playground, so the smaller kid, Iran, gets pushed around and decides to get clever. They go and stand right in the middle of the only path to it. That path is the Strait of Hormuz, where a huge chunk of the world's oil flows. And just like that, getting a drink got really, really difficult for everybody. So what happens when nobody can get to the water fountain? Suddenly, the price of every single juice box goes through the roof. I mean, just look at this. The cost of a single drink nearly doubled, shooting up from $70 to $120. That's how fast the entire playground got a serious case of sticker shock. Okay, so juice boxes cost more. You might be thinking, big deal, right? Well, it is a big deal. Because what that really means is that the coins in your lunch pail, your money, suddenly start to disappear. Remember when you could grab a popsicle and it was no big thing? Well, suddenly the price of the playground's favorite treat, let's call it a gallon of gas, spiked to a national average of $4.15. That is a huge jump, and every kid with a bike or a scooter felt it in their wallet. But it wasn't just the popsicles. It was worse than that. It was like the actual money in your pocket just shrank. Every snack in the vending machine cost more because your coins just weren't worth as much. We're talking an inflation rate of 3.3%, the highest it had been in almost 2 years. So with everything costing more, a record number of kids on the playground just felt bummed out. The fun was just kind of sucked out of everything. This sticker shock made everybody pessimistic, and suddenly the playground just wasn't a fun place to be anymore. And you could hear it directly from the other kids. This is what Lore, who works at a bank in Indianapolis, said. Now, he's talking about his car. But in our metaphor, that's like saying you have to stop riding your bike so much, just to make sure it doesn't break, because you know you can't afford a new one. And it was really tough on the kids who had their own little lemonade stands too. This tattoo artist in Pennsylvania, he had to pack it all in. Nobody had any spare lunch money for cool extra things anymore. This one fight was making it impossible for anyone else to play or trade fairly. Now this is really important. Look at who got hurt the most. It was the smallest kids, the ones with the least lunch money to start with. They were forced to spend over 30% of their money just getting around the playground. The richest kids, they spent less than 10%. It's a classic story. The fight hit the most vulnerable kids the hardest. Now, all this chaos did not go unnoticed. The playground monitors, think of them like the teachers on yard duty, were watching their charts with total alarm. And you don't need to be an economist to get these squiggly lines. All they really show is this. The second the price of popsicles went up, the price of everything else shot up with it. The monitors knew this little squabble was quickly turning into a full-blown crisis. So, with the whole playground in an uproar and the monitors starting to panic, it was finally time to deal with the fighters head-on. Yup, It was time to go to the principal's office. The whole place was just a mess. A few of the other kids on the playground tried to step in and break it up, but it was no use. So eventually, the principal had to call the two fighters into the office to sort this thing out once and for all. Can you just imagine how tensed it was inside that office? The big kid walks in, all swagger, basically saying the other one is just throwing a tantrum and has no real power. But the smaller kid, they didn't have to say a single word. They just walked in and quietly placed the blood-soaked school bags from the kids who were killed right on the principal's desk. It was a silent, absolutely gut-wrenching reminder of the real cost of this fight. But see, here's the thing. Even if they shake hands and walk out of that office, the damage has been done. The bill for this fight still has to be paid. And believe me, it lasts a lot longer than a scraped knee. You'd think so, wouldn't you? The fight's over, the bell rings, everyone just goes back to playing. But that's not how it works, not at all. A fight like this leaves behind a bill, a kind of forever bill that everyone has to pay. So what's on this bill? Well, first, you have to pay to take care of the kids who got hurt, and those costs go on for years and years. Then there's the huge stack of IOUs the principal racked up just to deal with the crisis. And maybe worst of all the money that got spent on the fight and the cleanup, that's money that can't go to new swing sets or better slides. It's money that can't be used to make the playground better for anyone. This quote from the Century Foundation really says it all perfectly. A big fight doesn't just cost money. It warps the entire playground. It literally disfigures the economy. It steals the chance to build something better, something more fun. It robs every single kid of a better recess. And that really just leaves us with one final heavy thought. If this is the bill for just one fight, what does that tell us about the true cost we are all paying every single day just to try and stop the bullies on this very big, very complicated, and very interconnected playground?